Capital punishment dilemma. Capital punishment is arguably the harshest punishment that is still in the current justice system. It goes against majority of beliefs of citizens in our society, and it also goes against many common religious beliefs. It is based off the idea that we should prioritize our citizens' health over everything else. Although our nation has freedom of religion, we are typically seen as a Christianity country. Our Pledge of Allegiance has the phrase, "One nation under God," and the U.S. currency has the phrase, "In God we trust," written on the back. If our country truly is one nation under God, and we trust in God as we say we do, why do we go against His commandment of "Thou shalt not kill"? The common defense for capital punishment is putting murderers on death row. Is the only way we can guarantee safety and welfare of our nation's citizens. After gathering information from both sides of the spectrum, an argument can be made for both banning and for both keeping the death penalty. The intentions of the speech will be to show why death penalty is too severe of a punishment and how capital punishment ultimately doesn't do the job it was created for. Before getting straight into this speech, I want to start with the history of the death penalty. The death penalty in America started before this country was even founded. Capital punishment can be traced within the American countries all the way back to the early 1630s, nearly 140 years before the country gained its independence. In this time period, the death penalty could be used for a large variety of crimes, even minor crimes such as pickpocketing. Although the death penalty today is no longer used for minor crimes, it's easy to see that the death penalty was originated in a time period where human life is not as valuable as we treat it today. The death penalty has experienced many changes over the years. In 1972, the Supreme Court ruled capital punishment as unconstitutional, and in 1976, the law revised the law and decided the punishment be reinstated. The death penalty laws have different rules depending on each state the crime was committed. 2012, Connecticut banned the death penalty. Illinois did the same in 2011, New Mexico 2009, New Jersey 2007, and New York in 2004. Other states have laws that allow for capital punishment if the crime results in death. The Supreme Court leaves the question open for crimes against the state that do not result in death. An example of this is treason, which is a capital offense under federal law. Although debate of the death penalty to be banned or not has been brought up over many years, there's still tons of gray area that leaves the state able to exploit the capital punishment. People all over America and Europe, as early as the 1800s, began to question if the death penalty should be allowed. There are a variety of reasons why people oppose the death penalty. The most prominent reason is the human value of life. Human life is a one-time gift that defied many odds to get a human where they are today. This life that defied so many odds can now be taken away due to the fact that a criminal committed one mistake. Everyone has earned the right to life, and capital punishment permanently dismisses them from this right. A key characteristic in life is learning and growing from your mistakes. The death penalty does not allow criminals to learn and grow from the mistakes they have committed. Another reason the justice system should stray away from the death penalty is the possibility of executing an innocent. This happened before and will continue happening due to flaws in the justice system. All witnesses, prosecutors, and jurors are human. It's not uncommon for humans to make mistakes. With both problems in humans running a system and problems that were already within this justice system, it's almost inevitable that an innocent person will be sentenced to death row again. The death penalty is commonly seen as a deterrent to crime, but this is not the case, however. Throughout the country, murder rates in states with the capital punishment are higher than the murder rates in states without the capital punishment. Another thing the death penalty gives off at the face value is that it's cheaper to sentence someone to death than it is to put them in prison for life. After researching the death penalty, I found out that this is not the case. The death penalty costs the states millions of dollars, and typically prisoners spend up to 14 years on death row surviving off taxpayer dollars before millions is spent to end their lives. People on death row also aren't always aware of their actions. Over the years, many people have been proven to be mentally insane after being sentenced to death row, which means they did not have complete control over their actions. People should not have to risk losing their own lives if their actions were not that of a guilty mind. By a guilty mind, I mean fully knowing what you're going on and fully knowing your actions are wrong. Instead of putting mentally insane people in mental institutions where they can get help they need, the state decides to end their lives, and sometimes they don't even know why they did it. There are many factors that can alter the chances of facing death row for the same crime committed. The location of crime plays a major role in if someone will face death row. In the states that allow capital punishment, the location of the crime where it occurs can even play a huge role. Oregon, for example, in some counties it is common to face death row than it is in other counties for committing the same crime. Other alternatives come into play, such as race and wealth. The study has been proven that committing murder on a white man leads to a greater chance of facing the death penalty than that of murdering an African American. The wealth and availability to an adequate lawyer also impacts one's chances. Columbia University did a study that found nearly 70% of all cases were reversed on appeal due to inadequate defense. The death penalty has no real benefit to anyone involved. Although sometimes the victim's family may feel safer now that there's family members, criminals now off the streets, another family now has to deal with the pain of losing a loved one and suffering as well. Although this list is very long of why the death penalty should be banned, there's also very good reasons why we should keep the death penalty. The death penalty has many more positives than what appear when you look at it as a face value. The death penalty has been considered constitutional through the 5th and the 14th Amendment. It states that someone cannot be deprived of life without the due process of law. Every criminal that has been committed to death row has faced the due process of law. The justice system also has advanced technology and advanced DNA testing, which can almost guarantee that a guilty person will face death row instead of an innocent. The death penalty is arguably also a more humane way to treat someone rather than 23-1 lockdown. 23-1 lockdown is lockdown in prison 23 hours a day, every single day. This can force people to go insane and lead to bigger issues. Many people fear the death penalty under certain circumstances, such as torture or murder. The death penalty allows the victim's family to feel closure, and the death penalty is only viewed as unfair because the justice system is unfair. Innocent people are still serving time unjustly, no matter what the crimes they commit, even if they aren't on death row. As I've shown above, the death penalty has many reasons for both keeping and banning the punishment, but the justice system is flawed in many different aspects. While the death penalty should not be blamed for the flawed system, it should be altered away to fit the system's flaws. The justice system needs to work in many different aspects until we can resolve. The justice system needs to work in many different aspects, and until we resolve these issues, we must stray away from using the death penalty as a punishment to criminals.